better look at him.
Better put your hands up, partner, because these pistol-packing peace officers ain't messing around. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 lawmen in westerns.
Go find the still, leave us alone.
For this list, we're looking at the lawmen who tamed the silver screen with their quick wits and fast trigger fingers. Of course, not everybody here is a hero. Some defend the law, others bend the law, but whether they're courageous or corrupt, they know how to keep the peace. And they've got to be either memorable, important, or iconic. We're including sheriffs and marshals on this list. However, since we're focusing on film, TV characters like U.S. Marshal Matt Dillon won't make the cut.
Oh.
Number 10, Deputy U.S. Marshal Jed Cooper, hang 'em high. When you hang a man, you better make sure he's not Clint Eastwood. After he's mistaken for a cattle rustler and left for dead, Jed Cooper signs on to work as a U.S. Marshal.
Pick up the badge, Mr. Cooper.
Of course, he isn't worried about justice. This guy wants revenge.
You're under arrest. Move.
Steely-eyed and ticked off, Cooper hunts down his attackers one by one. And even though he's supposed to bring them in alive, well, sometimes things get a little out of hand. After all, this is Clint Eastwood we're talking about.
I need you alive.
Number 9, Sheriff John Baxter, a fistful of dollars.
I'm John Baxter, sheriff.
He's a crime lord with a badge, and he just made a deal with the wrong dude.
You'll pay all right, you'll be strung up.
Even though he's a slimy gangster, you have to feel sorry for Sheriff John Baxter.
You women. If things aren't complicated for you, you become suspicious.
Embroiled in a Wild West gang war, he also has to deal with a domineering wife, a son who gets kidnapped, and a mysterious gunfighter who isn't what he seems.
I've been to talk to the Rojos. They'll give back Antonio in exchange for Marshal. It'll take place in the morning.
Every so often he thinks he's getting ahead, but in the end, the poor guy is always getting shafted by that man without a name.
Good night.
Number 8, Marshals Virgil Cole and Everett Hitch, Appaloosa.
Fellas, I'm the new city marshal. Put it away or lose it.
Everybody has a talent, and these guys are good at enforcing the law.
I ain't shooting, mister.
Terrorized by a cutthroat cattle baron, the town of Appaloosa hires a pair of professional lawmen with plenty of guns and their own special contract. But Cole and Hitch aren't just partners, they're friends who watch each other's backs, especially when it comes to vocabulary.
So you and Mr. Bragg can commit. What word am I trying for?
Commiserate?
Whether they're chasing baddies or hashing out problems, these buddies stick together through thick and thin. It's the best Old West bromance this side of Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday.
Bring any coffee?
Done, sir.
Number 7, Charlie Rakes, Lawless.
My name is Charlie Rakes. I'm from Chicago.
He is the best dressed lawman on our list. He also might be the scariest. When local authorities can't stop the Bondurant brothers from making moonshine, the government sends in Special Deputy Charlie Rakes.
Where's the still? Where's the liquor and where's the money?
With his slicked back hair and penchant for perfume, Rakes seems a little obsessive about his clothes. But behind that bow tie is a sadist who'll stop at nothing to get what he wants. Brutal, ruthless, and never without those fancy gloves, Rakes is a well-mannered monster and makes this atypical Western a must-watch movie. Number 6, Sheriff Bart, Blazing Saddles. He's hip, handsome, and has his work cut out for him. Moments before execution, This convict is appointed sheriff of Rock Ridge, a town where the citizens aren't exactly fans of civil rights.
I hereby assume the duties of the office of sheriff in and for the township of Rock Ridge.
Fortunately, he knows how to get himself out of a jam.
Take it easy, Charlie. My foot's on the rail.
With his drunken deputy, Bart beats every baddie who comes his way, from the bull-riding giant to a seductress with a speech impediment.
No, you mustn't go. I need you. I never met nobody like you. I can't live without you. Du hast gemacht mein entire Leben.
Played to comic perfection by Cleavon Little, this hilarious lawman is a whole lot cooler than Randolph Scott.
You do it for Randolph Scott.
Randolph Scott. Randolph Scott.
Number 5, Sheriff Ed Tom Bell, No Country for Old Men.
I was sheriff of this county when I was 25 years old.
He seems laid back, but this West Texas lawman has a lot on his mind.
Well, it's a mess, ain't it, Sheriff?
If it ain't, it'll do till the mess gets here.
Ed Tom Bell has been sheriff for a long time, but now he lives in a world he doesn't recognize. After a drug deal goes south, Bell tries to save a country boy from a professional hitman, but his encounter with evil shakes him to the core.
You think this boy Moss has got any notion of the sorts of sons of bitches that are hunting him?
I don't know, he ought to. He's seen the same things I've seen, and it certainly made an impression on me.
Far from being your average Hollywood tough guy, Bell is a weary old man who knows there's a heavy price for wearing a badge.
He's fixing to make a fire somewhere out there in all that dark and all that cold. I knew that whenever I got there, he'd be there.
Number 4, Reuben J. Rooster Cogburn, True Grit.
Oh, if it ain't loaded and cocked, it don't shoot.
At first glance, he doesn't look like your typical movie hero.
I've never seen anybody in bed at 10 o'clock in the morning who wasn't sick.
Coffee.
A one-eyed drunk who needs to lose a few pounds, Cogburn is often as shady as the crooks he tracks down. But when teenaged Maddie Ross hires him to catch her father's killer, this U.S. Marshal shows what he's really made of. Perfectly portrayed on the big screen by both John Wayne and Jeff Bridges, Cogburn shoots first and asks questions later. But under all that grime and gristle, there's a genuine Western hero. Just don't mention his weight.
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
Fill your hand, you son of a bitch!
Number 3, Little Bill Daggett, Unforgiven.
If I see you again, I'm just gonna start shooting and figure it's self-defense.
Sure, he's a lousy carpenter, but when it comes to facing down gunfighters, Little Bill is second to none.
You been talking about the Queen again? On Independence Day?
Sheriff of a small Wyoming town, Daggett can't abide assassins, and whenever he speaks, his word is law.
Go on, get out of here!
Unfortunately, he only seems to have 2 settings, way too lenient and way too brutal. One of Gene Hackman's finest performances, this savage sheriff might stand for truth and justice, but even though he wears a badge, he isn't really any better than the men he hunts down. Number 2, Marshal Wyatt Earp, Gunfight at the OK Corral.
Wyatt Earp. Why, you old son of a gun. Why didn't you let us know you was riding into town?
One of the most famous real-life lawmen, Earp has appeared in books, TV shows, and movies like Tombstone.
I'm Wyatt Earp, and these are my brothers,
Wyatt Earp.
Virgil and Morgan.
But while Kurt Russell certainly resembles the mustachioed Marshal, our number 2 spot goes to Hollywood legend Burt Lancaster.
Wyatt Earp, United States Marshal. That's all I need.
In this classic flick, Earp is a die-hard do-gooder who deals with everything from crazy cowboys to sexy card sharps, all while keeping tabs on Doc Holliday.
Hey, you've taken up a new occupation. It's too bad. You were a good dentist.
My patients didn't like my coughing.
But when he's forced to choose between love and family, this passionate peacekeeper ends up in the most infamous gunfight in U.S. history. Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions.
I don't like it when a friend of mine offers to help, and 20 minutes later he's dead. And I don't like you, Burdette, because you set it up.
Get your finger out of the end of my gun.
How dare you pull a gun on me?
I said take your finger out of the end of my gun.
Well, until I do, you better take your finger off that trigger and let the hammer down real slow.
Who is it? It's me, Dan. I brought help. You've been gone a long time, Mr. Butterfield.
Number 1, Marshal Will Kane, High Noon.
Well, Marshal, turn in your badge. Tell you the truth, I kind of hate to do this without your new marshal being here.
This small-town marshal seems like the luckiest guy on Earth. He's a beloved figure, newly married, and ready to start life anew, until he learns an old enemy is coming to town.
They pardon Frank Miller.
What is it,
I don't believe it.
But instead of running, Kane pins his badge back on. And that's when his friends take off.
I guess you all know why I'm here. I need deputies. I'll take all I can get.
You must be crazy coming in here to raise a posse.
Even his pacifist wife leaves him in the lurch, but this duty-bound lawman stands his ground and defends his town, even though he's all alone.
This is different, Will. This ain't like what you said it was gonna be. This is just plain committing suicide, and for what? Why me? I'm no lawman.
A character with courage and conviction, Will Kane is unquestionably the quintessential Western lawman.
Do not forsake me, oh my darling. Although you grieve.
Do you agree with our list?
I do not remember agreeing to it.
Who's your favorite Western lawman?
Do I look stupid to you?
For more awesome top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
What I must do is all that concerns me.